Have you ever been there? You know, maybe brewing coffee, perfect morning, or you're out camping, finally off grid, and bam, silence, the power's out.
Happens all the time.
Or maybe you're just planning ahead, scrolling online, and you see generator, inverter, generator, and it all starts to get, well, a little fuzzy.
Yeah, those terms get tossed around a lot, sometimes interchangeably, and that's where the confusion really starts.
Well, you're in the right place today. Our mission here is to cut right through that confusion. We want to give you really precise insights into portable power. We're not just listing features, we're diving into the why behind the what, the core differences, so you can feel confident picking the right power solution for your needs.
Absolutely. Making that informed choice is key.
Okay, so let's unpack this. It's clear there's more going on than just one type of generator. We're going to look at, three main categories?
Exactly. 3 distinct categories. And you're right, a lot of the confusion comes because people use generator and inverter almost like synonyms.
Right.
But while they both give you electricity when the grid's down, how they do it is fundamentally different. And that difference, it impacts everything.
Like what kind of stuff you can plug in.
Precisely. What you can safely run, how noisy it is, how much fuel it guzzles. It all stems from how they work.
Okay, so what are the 3? Lay them out for us.
Sure. First, you've got the traditional generator. That's the classic engine-powered one. The workhorse many people picture first.
Got it. The noisy one.
Often, yeah. Then second, there's the inverter generator. This is more modern. It combines an engine with some pretty clever electronics. Often what people mean when they just say inverter in this context, confusingly enough.
Oh, okay. So that's a key point of confusion right there.
It really is.
Yeah.
And third, we have the standalone power inverter. This one's different. It's battery-based. It doesn't make power from fuel. It just converts stored energy.
No engine at all.
No engine.
Okay, that framework helps a lot. Understanding those 3 categories feels like the essential first step, because each one sounds like it's built for different jobs.
That's exactly it. Each has its place. And just quickly, you'll hear us mention AC and DC power.
Right, AC/DC, not the band.
Right. So AC, alternating current, that's your standard wall outlet power for most appliances at home.
Okay.
And DC, direct current, that's battery power.
Yeah.
Like car batteries, laptop batteries, phone batteries.
Gotcha.
And knowing that difference is important because these devices are often converting between AC and DC. That's kind of their whole job in a way.
Perfect. Okay, definition's clear. Let's get into the mechanics. If it's not just an engine spinning something in all 3 cases, what is the difference under the hood? How do they actually work?
Right. Let's start with the traditional generator. It's pretty straightforward, mechanically speaking.
Okay.
You've got an engine usually running on gasoline or diesel. It burns that fuel, spins an alternator, and that alternator directly makes AC power.
So direct AC output. Simple enough.
Very direct. And the key thing here is the engine speed. It usually runs at a constant high speed, like 3,600 RPM, no matter what you plug into it.
Wait, even if I just plug in a tiny light bulb?
Exactly. It's like flooring the gas pedal in your car, whether you're climbing a hill or just cruising on a flat road. It's always running full tilt.
Okay. I can see how that might not be very efficient sometimes.
Precisely. It's built for peak load, not necessarily light loads. Now, the inverter generator is where things get a bit more sophisticated.
Okay, I'm intrigued. You said it uses an engine and electronics. How does that change things?
It's this really clever 3-step process. First, yes, the engine generates AC power, sort of like the traditional one.
Okay.
But then step 2, that AC power immediately gets converted into DC power.
Right, like battery power.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
It's an intermediate step. And then step 3, that DC power is converted back into AC using sophisticated inverter electronics.
So it converts it twice, AC to DC, then DC back to AC.
Exactly. And the result is exceptionally clean, stable AC power, very smooth. But the real game changer is the engine speed.
It's not constant.
Nope. It intelligently varies based on how much power you're actually drawing. So if you only plug in that small light bulb, the engine slows right down.
Oh, okay. Like cruise control that actually adjusts the throttle based on the road.
That's a great analogy. It only uses the power and the fuel that it needs for the current load. Much smarter.
Way smarter. Okay, and then the third one, the standalone power inverter. You called it the silent partner earlier. Why silent?
Well, because it doesn't have an engine. Remember?
Right, no engine.
Its whole job is just conversion. It takes stored DC power, maybe from a big battery bank, your car's electrical system, or solar panels, and it converts that DC into usable AC power for your devices.
So it doesn't make energy, it just changes its form.
Exactly. Think of it like a translator for electricity. It needs an external DC source to work. It's not an energy factory itself.
Got it. So these internal differences,
Hmm.
they must have huge knock-on effects, right? Like noise, efficiency, what you can plug in.
Absolute profound effects. It dictates the entire user experience.
Okay, so let's get practical. What do these mechanics mean for, everyday use or planning for that outage or trip? Let's start with power quality. That sounds critical, especially now.
It's hugely important. With traditional generators, the power they output is often called dirty.
Dirty power. What does that mean?
It means the electrical wave isn't a smooth, perfect sine wave. It has fluctuations, distortions. We measure this with something called total harmonic distortion, or THD.
THD. Okay.
And traditional generators can have high THD, maybe 5%, sometimes way up to 20% or even more.
And is that bad?
For sensitive electronics, yes.
Yeah.
Think laptops, smartphones, TVs, medical equipment.
Right.
They expect clean, stable power like you get from the wall. Dirty power is like feeding a high-performance engine gritty fuel. It causes stress, can lead to malfunctions, or even shorten the lifespan of your expensive gear.
Yikes. Okay, so not ideal for modern gadgets.
Definitely not ideal. Now, inverter generators, because of that double conversion process we talked about.
Uh-huh. AC to DC. DC to
Potent.
AC.
Right. That process specifically cleans up the power. They produce very clean AC with low THD, usually under 3%.
Under 3%. How does that compare to wall power?
It's very similar to grid power. That makes it safe for basically all electronics, even the really sensitive stuff.
Okay, that's a massive advantage for inverter generators then.
It's a huge selling point. And standalone power inverters also generally provide very clean, stable AC power. As long as the DC source, the battery is good, the output is usually excellent for electronics too.
So the takeaway here is pretty clear. If you're running laptops, phones, modern TVs, anything with a microchip, you really want the clean power from an inverter generator or a standalone inverter. Traditional generators might be risky for that stuff.
That's the critical distinction, yes. You don't want to accidentally fry your gear.
Okay. Beyond protecting our gadgets, what about protecting our sanity? Noise, that's always a big complaint, right?
Oh, absolutely. Noise is a major factor. Traditional generators are, well, loud. We're talking 60 to 90 decibels.
And how loud is that, really?
Well, 60 dB is like a normal conversation. But 90 dB, that's like a lawnmower running right next to you, or a motorcycle.
Oh, okay, so definitely not subtle.
Not at all. Imagine that running outside your window during an outage, or trying to relax at a campsite next to that roar. It's disruptive.
Yeah, I can picture that. Ruins the peace and quiet pretty fast.
Totally. Now, inverter generators are a different story. Because their engines can slow down, they are significantly quieter.
How quiet?
Typically in the 50 to 60 decibel range. That's more like a refrigerator humming or a quiet office environment.
Okay, that sounds much more manageable.
Much more. It makes them way better suited for neighborhoods, campsites, RV parks, places where you don't want to disturb everyone.
Right. Good neighbor policy applies. And the standalone inverters.
Standalone power inverters. Completely silent.
Really? No noise at all.
Well, maybe a tiny hum from a cooling fan on some larger models, but basically silent. No engine, no combustion, no major moving parts. Ideal for indoor use or anywhere noise is a real concern. Cabins at night, maybe medical backups.
That's a huge plus. Okay, so a clear spectrum from loud to quieter to silent. Now, what about keeping them running? Fuel efficiency and runtime must vary a lot too.
Big time. And it ties right back to that engine speed thing.
With the traditional ones running full blast all the time.
Exactly. Traditional generators are less fuel efficient because of that constant high speed.
Yeah.
Even if you're just powering a few lights, the engine's working hard, wasting fuel.
So they drink gas faster.
Generally, yes. Higher consumption means shorter run times on a tank of fuel, typically maybe 8 to 12 hours, depending on the size and load.
Okay. And the inverter generators?
Much better. Inverter generators with that smart variable engine speed only sip fuel when the load is light. They work only as hard as needed.
So they use less fuel overall?
Significantly less. Often 40% to 50% less fuel compared to a traditional generator doing the same job.
Wow, 40–50%, that's huge.
It is. And that directly translates to longer run times, often 8 hours, maybe up to 20 hours, or even more on a similar size fuel tank.
That variable speed, it pays off in fuel savings and fewer refueling trips. That's a really practical benefit, especially if you're relying on it for a while.
Absolutely. Fewer trips out in the rain or cold with a gas can.
Definitely a plus. And the standalone inverters, no fuel, so infinite runtime.
Well, not quite infinite on its own. With standalone power inverters, runtime depends entirely on your battery capacity and how much power you're drawing.
Right, the battery size is the limit.
Exactly. It could be just an hour or two for a small battery powering something big, or it could be 24 hours or more for a large battery bank powering small devices.
You mentioned solar.
Ah, yes. If you pair it with solar panels that can recharge the batteries during the day, then you can potentially achieve very long, almost continuous runtime, as long as the sun cooperates. But it's weather dependent, of course.
Okay, so efficiency and runtime clearly favor the inverter and standalone types, depending on the setup. But what about raw power? Sometimes you just need grunt, right?
You do, and that's where traditional generators often shine. They're the heavy lifters.
Bigger output.
Generally, yes. You can find portable traditional models that go up to 20 kilowatts, sometimes even more. That's enough to run serious equipment.
Like what?
Think whole home central air conditioning, big well pumps, multiple large appliances at once, or heavy-duty power tools on a construction site. When you need maximum wattage and noise isn't the main issue, they're often the answer.
Okay, the workhorses. What about inverter generators? What's their typical power range?
Inverter generators usually range from around 1 kilowatt, that's 1,000 watts, up to maybe 7 or 10 kilowatts.
So less peak power than the big traditional ones.
Typically, yes, though you could often link two identical inverter units together in parallel to double the output, which is a neat trick.
Parallel capability. Good point.
But the sweet spot isn't necessarily maximum brute force. It's the combination of clean power, quiet operation, and efficiency. Perfect for camping, RVs, tailgating, or home backup for essentials, fridge, lights, computers, medical devices. Your sensitive stuff.
The versatile, refined choice.
Exactly. And standalone power inverters. Their power output also varies a lot, say 300 watts up to 5 kilowatts or more for the inverter itself. But remember, the usable power and duration is always limited by the battery bank connected to it.
Right, the battery's the bottleneck.
It is. So they're great for low to medium loads. Charging phones, laptops, running small appliances, lights in an off-grid cabin, maybe short-term backup for essentials. But running something like central AC off batteries, you'd need a massive, very expensive battery system.
So it really forces you to think, what am I actually powering? Is it heavy-duty tools and appliances? Is it essential electronics and lights? Or is it smaller devices where silence matters most?
That's the core question you need to answer. Brute force, refined versatility, or silent battery power.
Okay, last big comparison area. The practical stuff. Portability, cost, and maintenance. How do they stack up there?
Let's start with portability. Traditional generators, usually the biggest and heaviest. We're talking 100 pounds easily, often up to 300 pounds or more for the powerful ones.
Not exactly easy to toss in the car trunk.
Definitely not. They often have wheels, but they're hefty. Inverter generators, on the other hand, are designed to be more portable, much lighter and more compact, maybe 20 pounds for a small one, up to 100 pounds or so for larger models. Easier to handle, easier to transport.
Okay, more manageable. And standalone.
Standalone inverters themselves are usually the most portable, from small handheld units up to maybe suitcase size, but you have to factor in the weight of the batteries, which can be significant, and maybe solar panels too.
Right, the whole system matters. What about the cost? The price tag up front?
Generally, traditional generators are the cheapest option up front for the amount of power you get. Maybe $300 to $2,000 for common sizes.
More budget-friendly to start.
Yes. Inverter generators are more expensive because of the advanced electronics and quieter engines. You're looking at maybe $500 up to $3,000 or even more for similar power levels. You pay a premium for the cleaner power and quietness.
Okay, a higher initial investment.
Right. And standalone power inverters themselves can range from maybe $100 for a small one to $1,500 or more for a powerful, pure sine wave inverter. But that's just the inverter. The big cost comes from the batteries,
Which aren't cheap.
especially not large capacity ones, and maybe solar panels. Plus, you have the ongoing cost of replacing batteries eventually. So the total system cost can be quite high, depending on your needs.
So, upfront versus total cost of ownership. Important distinction. How about maintenance? Keeping them running.
Traditional generators have engines, so they need regular maintenance like any engine. Oil changes, spark plugs, air filters. Relatively simple mechanics, though.
Okay, standard engine stuff.
Inverter generators also have engines needing similar maintenance, but they also have those complex electronics. If an inverter board fails out of warranty, repairs can potentially be more costly than on a simpler traditional generator.
More complex parts. Potentially pricier fixes. Got it.
And standalone power inverters. Very low maintenance themselves, usually. No engine upkeep. But the batteries are the main thing. They degrade over time.
How long do they typically last?
Depends heavily on the type of battery and how you use and store it. Could be anywhere from 2-3 years for some basic types, up to 10 years or more for high-quality lithium chemistries. But eventually, they will need replacing.
So there's always some ongoing cost or effort, whether it's fuel and oil changes, potential electronic repairs, or eventual battery replacement. You got to factor that in beyond the sticker price.
Absolutely. The lifetime cost and effort are key parts of the decision.
Okay, we've covered a ton of ground here. The mechanics, the power quality, noise, efficiency, cost, maintenance, all the crucial differences. Let's try and tie it all together now. How does someone actually choose based on their specific needs?
All right, let's summarize the recommendations. You should probably choose a traditional generator IF. Your top priority is getting the most raw power for the lowest upfront cost. And if you're mainly powering rugged things like construction tools or large home appliances like central AC or a well pump during an outage, and crucially, IF noise isn't a major concern, and you're not running lots of sensitive modern electronics directly off it. It's the budget-friendly workhorse.
Got it. Maximum power, lower cost, noise, and dirty power are acceptable trade-offs. When is an inverter generator the way to go?
Choose an inverter generator IF NUS. IF, you value versatility, much quieter operation, better fuel efficiency, and especially if you need clean, stable power for sensitive electronics.
Like laptops, phones, TVs.
Exactly. It makes them ideal for camping, RVing, tailgating, or home backup, focusing on essential items and protecting your modern gadgets. It's the smart, flexible, quieter choice, even if it costs a bit more initially.
Makes sense. The all-rounder, almost. And the standalone power inverter, who is that best for?
Choose a standalone power inverter system if you want a completely silent, fuel-free, and potentially eco-friendly solution, especially when paired with batteries and solar.
Silent and green.
Right. It's fantastic for short-term backup power for devices, running things in an off-grid cabin, maybe in your vehicle, or any situation where noise is absolutely forbidden or undesirable. Just remember, its output is limited by the battery size, so it's not usually a replacement for running heavy, continuous loads for long periods without a very substantial battery bank.
Perfect summary. Heavy-duty, versatile, or silent and battery-based. One more thing, though, safety. Especially with the fuel-burning ones.
Oh, absolutely critical point. For any fuel-based generator, traditional or inverter, never, ever run them indoors or in closed spaces like garages or sheds.
Carbon monoxide risk.
Exactly. Carbon monoxide is odorless, colorless, and deadly. Always operate them outdoors, at least 20 feet away from your house, with the exhaust pointing away from any doors, windows, or vents.
20 feet, okay.
And look for models with a built-in CO shutoff sensor. That's a fantastic safety feature that many newer models have. Also, basic stuff. Keep them dry, don't overload them beyond their wattage rating, and store fuel properly and safely.
Excellent reminders. Safety first, always. And, for people really keen on solar or maximum flexibility, there are also those hybrid systems, right? The portable power stations.
Yeah, that's a great point. Those advanced portable power stations often combine a large battery, a high-quality inverter, multiple outlet types, and the ability to recharge via solar, wall outlet, or even your car. They offer a really compelling blend of features, kind of bridging the gap between a standalone inverter system and the portability of an inverter generator, but without the engine noise or fumes. Definitely worth considering for certain needs.
Lots of options, but hopefully much clearer now. So we've really journeyed from those potentially confusing terms, generator and inverter, to hopefully a really clear picture of 3 quite different ways to get power when you need it, where you need it. You should now feel much better equipped to think beyond just needing a generator and choose the right tool for your specific job.
Absolutely. And, if you just zoom out for a second, it's kind of fascinating how these 3 approaches reflect our broader journey with energy, isn't it?
How so?
Well, you've got the brute force mechanical power of the traditional generator, very industrial revolution. Then the sophistication of the inverter generator, using electronics to refine and control that power smartly. And then the standalone inverter with batteries and solar, pointing towards silent, stored, potentially renewable energy. It mirrors how we've learned to harness and manage energy in more complex and hopefully more sustainable ways over time.
That's a great perspective. From raw mechanics to smart electronics to stored renewables.
Yeah. Makes you wonder, what's the next step? As our energy needs keep changing, becoming more decentralized, what innovations will build on these foundations?
A fascinating thought to leave folks with. Well, thank you for clearing up the confusion today. And thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you feel truly empowered now.